Hi everyone, my name is Gaurav. Professionally, I've been a startup founder for over 10 years, usually on the tech side. I've been the tech co-founder. And today we are here with Kshitij, and hopefully we'll learn what it means to live consciously. Hi Kshitij.
Hey, hi Gaurav. First disclaimer, I don't think I'm any expert by far to talk about how to live consciously. I think it was just to kind of discuss the journey that I've had exploring this path of living more consciously.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you do a brief intro and then we can go from there?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kshitij, and I have been working with startups for almost, I think, 17 years now. While I started my career in a big corporate, I think it's been with with startups for 15 years now. And most of it has been spent with one startup, which was from very early stage getting to a meaningful stage. There was a phase in between where I was also doing a lot of, I was staying in Auroville and doing some good volunteer work there. That was like a brief change in my professional journey for some time. I also do some investments in angel investments in startups, and personally, I'm a dad. And thirdly, looking at how to live more consciously in all parts of my life, whether professional, personal, health, food, all the macro aspects of life. Just curious. I don't know if I can say if I've made any progress, but yeah, have been curious about this for 7-8 years now, and I've been trying different things.
Well, it'd be great to learn about your journey. 7-8 years is a very long time to be trying this.
Yeah.
So where did it all begin? Was there like a single life event, or was it like a gradual shift into this curiosity or this line of thinking and living?
So I don't know if the seed was always there. I don't know. Sometimes I feel maybe the seed and the curiosity was always there. But I feel a definite shift happened somewhere in around 2016, 2017. I think that was around the time where I had hit some of my planned professional milestones, right?
I see.
And I had recently become a father also. And there was this deep sense of emptiness. Right? I think before that I used to be fairly professionally ambitious, but at that point I was feeling this emptiness, even though I'd achieved some of these milestones.
Because you had achieved the milestone, because the target was no longer there. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, there could have been more milestones, right? It could have led to more milestones that I could have, which is what, I mean, I wouldn't say whatever I achieved was phenomenal or any of that. It was maybe quite regular, but...
So it was your milestone.
It was my...
You achieved it.
Correct. But I was not, I mean, there was this, like I said, there was a sense of emptiness I was feeling. And I really started questioning, where is this headed? What is going to give me that sense of fulfillment? And I kind of, put a lot of things on the table thinking, hey, if this happens, nothing seemed meaningful, right? So that's when the curiosity began. And then I did some of the standard stuff.
So once again, before we go forward, could it be that you felt the emptiness because you had a certain expectation that once I achieve this professional milestone, there'll be some magical, wonderful feeling or some fulfillment? That will happen. But then that expectation wasn't met. Could it be that?
Yeah, possible. Maybe I was hoping that once I get there, I would feel fulfilled in my life, right? I would feel that, okay, I've accomplished something and, now I can relax or...
Right.
But yeah, far from it, right? I think the curiosity was just even larger. What's the purpose? I used to, actually now I remember, I used to really think that the purpose of life is to start up or create. I used to be obsessed with the idea of starting up and the idea of creating an organization and taking it to a certain scale, right? So once to some extent that goal was achieved, that's when I was like, hey, I thought that this is the purpose of life and doesn't look like anywhere close to the satisfaction I thought I would feel. So that's when I think the curiosity began.
Okay. Okay. So then when you got curious, what did you do?
Yeah, I think I started a little standard. Maybe what a lot of people do. I went on YouTube, started seeing some videos. I even went to one of the ashrams near Bangalore, stayed there for a couple of days, um, joined some yoga class, tried some meditation that I learned from a local yoga teacher. So it started with that, but again, I was feeling very lost. Right?
It still did not have your answers.
I was not getting my answers. It felt very scattered. But then I of course met my mentor, who's still my mentor, uh, who kind of gave me a path. And the beauty about that path was that there is no path, right? So, but there is. I mean, you of course have you have certain a little more direction to explore.
Okay.
And a little more guidance, and which seemed like at least guidance that felt more relevant to me. Most of the other ways I was exploring before seemed very defined and
Like rigid steps to this and
हाँ correct, very rigid कि सुबह उठो, ये करो, ऐसे करो, ये गलत है, ये सही है. So वो कहीं पे resonate नहीं कर रहा था.
Okay. Okay, great. So this happened like back in 17,
16, 17.
16, 17. Okay. Okay. And then let's talk about like this path and the journey since then. How did it begin? So you were shown maybe this particular way or
Yeah.
maybe not very well defined, but a direction that okay, you should
Yes.
go in that direction.
Yes.
Was it like learning some knowledge? Was it like doing some activity regularly or mix of both, or what was it like?
So I think it was a mix of two things. I would say one was there was definitely a suggested practice which did not seem very autocratic or which did seem very rigid, right? And I can also share that practice. The practice was to just watch myself, right? Just watch my thoughts, watch my emotions, and not judge them. Right. I think for me that was a big unlock, right? Because I think once I started doing that, I was able to see my patterns, right? And I mean, it might seem very simple, but it's very difficult.
No, it's very hard to see your own patterns.
Yeah. And I'm still working at it, and I think I know there's so much to be done there, and I've had my roller coaster journey with that. But I started with a simple practice. I was still working in a fairly intense professional environment, and I was in a leadership role. So I had there's a big team I was managing, and there were various projects. So I started watching myself in my meetings. Right?
Okay.
And I could see, and so I could see how I was responding in these meetings, and and when I started watching myself, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this, I must be such a difficult person to work with, right? And so immediately those, the I don't even know how to define that behavior, but like I wouldn't want to work for myself. Right.
And before that, you were totally unaware that you behave this way.
Yes. I was just, just going with the flow, and I thought maybe this is the way, and I was maybe emulating people around me.
Right. Like most of us do. Like we see and then we.
Correct. Right. So I realized that what I realized was I had no awareness. I was just operating. I can say mindlessly. Right. I was just operating mindlessly and. Chasing after whatever was given to me, right? So I think that awareness itself just exposed me to that. Hey, this is, but I didn't judge myself. I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I didn't try to suppress any of it, right? But as soon as I started watching it, right, I just felt this immense sense of calm in my meetings, right? And that just changed the way I was working with people, and I could see. I think, and I had shared this in one other discussion. I could see my team becoming far more productive.
Oh.
I could see wonders coming out of that. And I remember the couple of years before this, before that period, right? And I think I caused a lot of stress to my team, and I didn't even get the best out of them. And after that, my team really flourished.
So you went from projecting stress to projecting calmness.
I think so. I hope so.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, and I then this team really came together, and some of the milestones that we were planning to hit, they just kind of over the next 2 years beautifully came together. Right. So that approach really helped me. That's where I started the practice, and then of course that practice kind of started coming into my personal life also.
So when you started this in your meetings initially, did you have any idea or expectation of how this will achieve your professional outcomes?
No, actually, no.
You just did it because this is what you were like.
Yeah, I mean,
you were guided to just do this.
I was just curious. I mean, I was just curious that let me try this in probably the most stressful environment that I am in, and I didn't go with any expectations. And I remember once I started doing this, my boss called me into the room one day and he said, "Kshitij, what's wrong with you?" Right? Like, why? This is not the you. You're generally this guy who's jumping and full of
high
energy, and suddenly, are you okay? I was like, everything's good. I just don't feel like that excitement and that jumping anymore. And I think he was worried. He was worried that have I lost the motivation?
Yeah.
And will is this form of leadership sustainable?
Right.
I think he was scared.
Naturally, because that's.
Yeah. But I was very clear, having tried this a few times, that this is far better a way to approach this. And I was like, ठीक है, जो भी outcomes होगा देखेंगे. But feels right.
And so then the outcomes, of course, they come a bit later.
Yes.
There's like as a byproduct, they came out good.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So you were saying you started this.
Yeah.
And along the way, it started affecting your personal life also.
Yes.
And in what way?
I think maybe one of the things I can think of is simple things, and maybe even some larger pieces. Like, for example, how I looked at parenting, or specifically maybe even schooling for my child. So my child my daughter was about 2 years old, and she was going to a particular school. And I used to go to drop her to school and sometimes pick her, and I could sense the energy with which children were entering the space, and the energy with which she was interacting with the space. Right, I could see a little bit. At least I felt that there was a little bit of anxiety every time she was entering that space. And of course, kids at that age express more openly. As you grow up, you tend to put on layers and facades. So she would express. But earlier, my earlier self would have thought, hey, this is natural, and I would be in a hurry that, hey, jana hai, isko chhod ke work khatam karna hai. So it's like, but then once I started doing this, that school just didn't feel right, and I started wondering, hey, maybe is there a better school where
like a first school is a massive decision for parents.
Yeah. But this was a play school or a kindergarten.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, we actually, as parents, we took a big call. We moved her to another school which was in the neighborhood, thankfully. But it was when we talked to the principal, I had actually talked to her initially. I got a very good, at least the feeling felt right, the way she was looking at, and to her credit, she even warned me that, hey, this is very different.
Okay.
Do you resonate with this approach? And I just totally resonated with the approach. So it was, within the family, it was a little bit of a difficult discussion when I had proposed moving her from the traditional school to this school.
But was it like some kind of alternate education?
Yeah, we can call it a non-mainstream. So she goes to a Waldorf school. Waldorf is one of but it's very niche. I wouldn't say niche, actually. It's a very different kind of schooling. So very incidentally, so this whole Waldorf originated from this person called Rudolf Steiner, who's from Germany, right? So I thought, अच्छा ठीक है, Germany से आया है, 100 साल पुराना, तो Germany में it would be a little more mainstream.
Right.
So in 2020, I had met 2 Germans. I was in Auroville and I was talking to them, and they said they are also from the Waldorf education system.
Okay.
तो मैं Germany से हैं, तो mainstream होगा. So I said, okay, it must be like a big thing in Germany. They're like, no one knows about this in Germany also. Right? We are like the exception in Germany. So I was like, oh wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Wow, what a coincidence you ran into them.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big shift. Like, I mean, this caused you to move your child to a different way of education, and I'm sure you must have couldn't have been easy within the family to convince other people.
Yeah.
Because typically there's a lot of FOMO that the child might miss out on this mainstream thing.
Yeah. No, but full credit to the family. I think we had some discussions, but everyone kind of aligned, and
nice.
And we've been grateful that we took that decision back then. So far,
so even in hindsight, it was a good decision.
I mean, so far, सबका तो long term में पता चलता है, but so far
it's been 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, so far it looks right, but she's still just 10 years old.
Right.
So we'll see, but it feels right. I mean, I think it feels right. Yeah.
Okay. So schooling is one thing. Any other way where your parenting changed? How you communicate with your child?
Yeah.
Changed.
Yeah, I think I mean that was honestly a struggle, because what I was able to do is I was able to observe when I was with her how quickly my patience would get hit. Right? पहले क्या होता था कि हो जाता था patience hit, reaction भी हो जाता था, and then like वो observation नहीं होता था. Right? Like लगता था कि
it's normal.
It's normal, right? Yeah. But now I was able to watch and see कि यार यहाँ तो मैं react कर गया. Right? Or यहाँ पे, I got overwhelmed, right? And I'll say I'm still a massive work in progress यहाँ पे. It's still, there are times when I just lose awareness, and I like maybe end up losing my temper. But I think it's far better than what it might have been if I hadn't been on this journey. Yeah.
Okay, that's and then like these things have a huge impact on children, right? We can't even imagine. Right?
Yeah. But I must say, this is all relative to me only, right? So it's possible that others might. So it's very difficult to compare it. Like, so I think relative to how I was, I think this is better.
I think that's the only way to compare.
Yes.
We can only compare with our past self and our current self.
Correct. Yes, it's exact. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about some other aspects of life? Let's say your behavior with other people, people who work with you at home, at office.
So at office, though, I shared, I think the approach completely changed.
Yeah.
They completely changed.
Was it only in meetings, but also other parts of work? Like
I think definitely other parts of work also.
You delegate what the expectations you set, how you hold your team accountable.
Yes, absolutely. How I set the growth path for each of my team members. I think I was able to connect with each one at a far deeper level. Right? When I look back, I think before that the connection that I shared with my teammates was also a little more superficial, a little more tactical.
Right.
But
to achieve work outcomes and the goals and
right. Just it was
everything was optimized around that.
Yeah. Correct. Right. And I think then the conversation with each one of them actually became a lot more deeper. Where I try to have an understanding of, hey, what do you really want? What are you looking for? What are your challenges? And I built some beautiful, deep connections in the process. I think before that, I feel at least a lot of my connections were also very superficial. So I built some very deep relationships in the process, and those people, of course, many of them moved on, and many of them are now startup founders themselves and are doing some fabulous things. And I feel those connections are still there, and I feel very grateful for that. Other aspects, when I think of other aspects that change, and I'm just looking back, is simple things. Like, for example, how I looked at food changed a lot. Right, like what I started eating, how I started eating, and it just happened organically. It's not like I read some book and say, "Yes, अब से ये diet follow करना है," या फिर अब like all these fad diets that are there. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. I think I just started eating with more awareness. And then I just started enjoying food a lot more earlier. I think my relationship with food was also very, very, खाना है so that पेट भरना है so that next meeting में जा पाऊँ. It's fuel. हाँ.
Yeah.
हाँ. I think I lost that wonder that I had with food. So that changed.
Well, how did it change specifically? Were you like, did you become more able to tell the quality of food with the awareness, or the what suited you, what did not suit you, those kind of things?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what used to happen before is that there were rules governing what I eat and not eat, and those rules were based on what I was hearing, listening, या जो पास से चले आ रहा था, right? But now what I did was I started paying attention to my body कि अब इसका खाने का क्या मन कर रहा है, right? क्या इसको अभी भूख लगी है?
Yeah, that's a big one.
हाँ.
हाँ. I mean, I earlier did not care about भूख लगी है कि नहीं आज जाएगी.
हाँ, और exactly सामने अगर खाना रखा है तो अपने आप subconsciously mind चले जाता था जो चाहे अपने 10 मिनट पहले ही lunch finish किया हो, right? You start eating. So then like I became यार भूख ही नहीं लगी फिर भी खा रहा हूँ मैं. Right? Yeah, I remember one.
The moment you notice that, you realize what's going on here.
हाँ, हाँ. पहले ऐसा रूल था कि यार लंच में ना 3 रोटी तो खाते हैं, राइट? फिर जब मैं अवेयरनेस से खाने लगा, मैं देखा कि यार 1.5 रोटी में तो पेट ही भर गया,
राइट?
तो फिर अपने आप वो मॉडिफाई हो गया, राइट? एंड इन द प्रोसेस व्हाट हैपेंड, आई थिंक दिस आल्सो बिकेम अ वेरी डीप एरिया ऑफ इंटरेस्ट फॉर मी. सो माय रिलेशनशिप विद फूड ओवर द इयर्स, आई मीन नॉट इमीडिएटली, बिकेम डीपर एंड डीपर. बिकॉज पहले क्या होता था कि खाना आ जाता था और मैं खा लेता था, राइट? या फिर रेस्टोरेंट में गए तो मैंने ऑर्डर कर लिया एट बेस्ट, राइट? बट नाउ व्हेन दिस हैपेंड, आई स्टार्ट गोइंग डीपर इनटू द फूड चेन, राइट? कि अच्छा ये कहाँ से आया, इसको बनाने में क्या क्या जाता है, क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स जाते हैं, कैसे बनता है, ये कौन से यूटेंसिल्स में बनता है, सोर्स क्या है, राइट? मतलब कौन से दुकान से वेजिटेबल्स आ रहे हैं. देन आई इवन वेंट टू द फार्म्स, राइट? लाइक थैंकफुली आई स्टार्टेड सोर्सिंग सम ऑफ माय fruits and vegetables from this one place. They had a farm tour कि आओ हमारा farm tour. So you know, with family, with my daughter, I went there, and that was like, so it just happened, and then that curiosity went deeper and deeper, and over time, so now it's still it's a very integral part of my being now, where you know I think and this is a cause that somewhere I believe in also, is that I think that relationship with food, between people and food, has shrunk, right? It's become very superficial, and it's such an integral part of our existence, right? So
you are what you eat.
You are, that's what they say. That's what
they say. Yeah, it definitely has a huge impact on us.
Yeah.
Physiologically, and then it links to other parts.
Yeah, I think now there's so much of research which says, you know, mental health can be cured through food. Of course, physical health to hai. But I think usme the one thing, I know we're maybe digressing a little bit, but I think a lot of advice is ye khao, ye nahi khao, ye doodh piyo, waisa ye wo. I think the answer for me there is the ability that people need to learn is the ability to listen to themselves.
Yeah,
right?
No, absolutely.
Because different things work for different people.
Yeah. So, sorry, a bit of a digression, but some people ask me for fitness advice. First thing I tell them is there's no generic fitness advice. It has to be bespoke designed for you.
Huh. And only you know the answer to that.
Yeah, you have to figure it out. You have to make a list of things which you like eating, which you don't like eating.
Yes. And that is maybe true for maybe all parts of your life, right? Not just relationships,
absolutely,
work, right? Because there's just so much advice and gyan that is being thrown at you, right? In social media and all of that, right? कि आप like, and it used to happen with me, and abhi bhi kabhi hota hai, right? You start wondering कि यार मैं ठीक कर रहा हूँ क्या? Am I eating the right thing? Am I approaching my professional career the right way and all of that, right? So वहाँ पे the ability to listen to yourself, I think is maybe the answer to everything.
It's a hard one though, but if you can crack it, then you probably don't need external advice then. Because the answers are there already. You just have to become
and you have to cut out the noise. मुझे लगता है somewhere, because the noise is just so overwhelming these days, right? Like it's coming from every direction all the time, and it's so accessible thanks to this. Right?
Absolutely, Okay, so food. Interestingly, my kind of similar journey also became with food. So one of the first things one of the first activities when I started to pay attention and become aware of things was when I was eating. Like you did with meetings.
Eating and meeting.
But food is definitely a big one.
So what happened for you with food?
I realized I did not even know how to eat before this.
Yeah.
Dhyan is somewhere else, and I'm just putting things into my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I actually started paying attention, the whole food experience is totally transformed, totally different.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. But candid confession, मैं अभी भी most of my meals I still मैं फिसल जाता हूँ, right? Like my thoughts are somewhere, my food is somewhere, so I have to keep bringing myself back.
So mine is now it has become earlier I used to slip. Now I know that okay, consciously I know this meal I'm not having properly because I have to do some work or I have to watch some lecture or whatever at the same time. And then other meals I will, like when I can, I'll consciously, I'll not do anything else. I'll like full attention will be on the meal. And it goes beyond, like before eating also, like some meals I prepare myself, so there also for me it's a very therapeutic and meditative exercise.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, cooking is such a therapeutic thing, right? Like, when I was saying that, the relationship with food, right? Like, it's, there's so much of it is cooks, like, it's growing, sourcing, cooking, preparing, right?
Yeah, it's a very long chain.
It's a long chain. And
we are only paying attention to the last bit.
Exactly. We take so much for granted. And it's unfortunate, I feel. I mean, it's the loss of the end user only, I feel, in this because... I mean, and also the society and the culture is also pushing you more and more towards this, right? कि यार तुम खाना खाओ आगे बढ़ो, right?
Right.
So
absolutely.
It's, again, I don't know, right, wrong, pata nahi. But I realize for me at least, I think being more deeply integrated with it makes me feel better.
And then it's after, it goes beyond, like after you put it into your body also, and the whole digestive process is there. It's a whole,
yes.
It's a long chain.
Yes.
What you do right after eating, how long before sleeping do you eat? There's so many things which affect digestion, and because the food still exists, it's just in a different form in a different place.
Yeah,
right. It's still.
Yeah, and I think again, like I've started refraining from the science of it because हर एक इंसान का अलग, because again deeper जाओगे तो किसी का digestive fire higher है, lower. So the best is to just listen to your body.
Your body, absolutely.
Right? कि मेरे को खाना खाने के बाद walk करने का मन है, कि सोने का मन है, जो भी, like you just listen to it and figure it out.
And even for us, it might be different on different days. It's not one thing which is always like there's no rule.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the rule thing is a very good one, right? Like I was actually today morning only incidentally I was thinking of it कि I realized that recently मैंने भी बहुत rules बना लिए अपने life में, right? So for example, a rule कि इस time पे सोना है और इस time पे उठना है, right? और इसमें भी इतना ज्ञान आता है ना आजकल कि ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में उठो, जल्दी उठो, इस time पे सो, ये वो, right? And for the last few days, incidentally क्या हो रहा है कि मैं रात को 2 बजे उठ जा रहा हूँ, right?
Okay.
And now, like, my older self or maybe, a few weeks older self would have said, "Kya kya kar rahe ho? 2 baje koi uठता है क्या? Right? You'll be tired through the day और ये वो." इस बार मैं नींद खुल के मैं ठीक है, खुल गई है, चलो बैठ जाते हैं, क्या करें, काम करने का मन करे तो काम कर लेते हैं. तो आज, I mean, yesterday night and today morning itself, right? Like, मैं 2:15 a.m. I was on my desk and I was working, right? Because I was like, मैं अपने ऊपर ये रूल क्यों डाल रहा हूँ कि रात को सोना ही होता है और इस टाइम पे तो 3 बजे सोना ही होता है. अब नींद नहीं आ रही है for whatever reason. Energetically काम करा, बहुत अच्छे से काम हुआ, and I was like, ठीक है, let me not put rules on myself.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum of ways in which people can live, and what I have to listen to my body ultimately.
No, yeah. Then have you been doing this for a while? This waking up in the middle of the night, and if you felt like it, how long has it been?
No, I think this is more recent. This is just maybe a couple of nights old.
I'm curious to know how this holds up over like weeks.
It's possible. It's possible that maybe 2 दिन बाद I get back to waking up at 6 a.m. right? But what I was saying is that I do not like आज अगर body 3 बजे 2 बजे उठ गई है तो उठ गए. Not tell myself कि नहीं सो जाओ. This is not the time to get up. You'll be tired through the day, right? और like किसी दिन अगर ज़्यादा नींद आ रही है तो I used to sometimes even force myself कि यार अगर मैं 8 बजे उठा तो फिर I'll just start late and maybe feel lethargic through the day. I used to like force myself to get up at a certain time. So I'm just like, okay, let me just listen to my body.
So how do you deal with the other end of this when you feel sleepy at the office?
Oh yeah, that's a very good question. I really want I wish I had more control over this. I wish there were some of these nap beds in my work, because I think it makes such a huge difference, right? Like if I'm feeling sleepy and if I take that 20-minute nap, I come back to work far more productive, right? Abhi to kya, I just like, I take like maybe, you know, on my desk, take a quick nap. But I mean, earlier I used to resist it with coffee and artificially trying to keep myself awake, and it didn't help, honestly. I mean, maybe I did manage to stay awake, but I think my focus was missing. I don't think good quality work came.
Because you're forcing your body to do something which it's not ready to do in that moment.
Yes.
It's always going to be like friction and struggle.
Yes, exactly, right. So I think, I mean, this is like, I feel when I thought of this, like workplaces should also enable this somewhere, right?
Some places do, but very, very, very rare.
Very rare, yeah. I think that वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा advanced तो क्या, but some thinking on, hey, you know, like don't look down upon sleep, right? Like sleep can be very refreshing and bring back people very rejuvenated.
It's not counterproductive. It's pro productivity.
Yeah. Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
But I think they fear that abuse of the system, so I don't know.
Possibly, yes. But then, I mean, that then ties to other things. Probably
exactly.
The whole culture should be, people should be like taking ownership and initiative and not.
Absolutely.
Should not have to be told to do work.
Absolutely.
The moment they have to be told to do it, that's a very bad situation.
Yeah, 100%.
And that ties into what you were talking about earlier. Like when you deeply connect with your colleagues, these kind of things naturally will happen. You will not have to force it.
Yes, exactly.
It's a forcing which is causing the issues.
Yeah. Actually, beautiful point. If you're able to build that connection with your team and you give them that space and you trust them, I think people automatically flourish. And whoever doesn't, you know, automatically they get weeded out of the system, right? So, apne aap hi clean up ho jata hai.
Yeah. Okay. So coming back to the kind of impacts on personal life, did it have any? Actually, let's go further. Well, let's talk about your. Let's go back to your journey. So you mentioned you've spent some time in Auroville. When was this?
This was right in the middle of COVID. 2020 November is when I moved.
So like a few years into your journey, like 3-4 years.
3 years into my journey, and it was actually fascinating. I never thought it would be possible. I never thought, you know, my family would agree to something like that.
Something like what? Did you spend like a lot of time there? How long was
I was there for like 1.5 years.
Oh, that's okay. That's very.
I mean, we went with the intention.
So basically, you're living there.
Yeah. And my daughter used to go to school there. I was working there. I was volunteering with one of the units, actually 2 of the units there. Very integrated. The intent was to go there for good or for a long time.
Right.
But for some reason we had to come back after 1.5 years. But and what is beautiful is how it kind of came together. I never imagined that would happen. I remember. So first time I went to Auroville was in 2017. I had just gone alone. I had a free weekend to myself, so I just decided to go. And of course, it was, for me at least, it was a very interesting experience. And I remember taking a video around saying that, you know, I hope someday I get to stay here. And when I said it, I knew that ye to bahut hi wishful thinking hai. But somehow things kind of came together and actually did end up moving there and staying there.
Fairly quickly, like within a couple of years.
Yeah.
Nice. It usually takes people much longer to realize their dreams.
I mean, one of the aspirations, yes. Yes.
Well, so you lived there 1.5 years. What did you do there apart from volunteering? Did you do like yoga classes and horse riding, all those crazy?
So I went there with no agenda.
Okay.
कोई agenda से नहीं गया था. I just went to just be there, live there. So I didn't go with a plan कि ये करना है.
Had you left your professional job?
I was on a break. Yeah.
Okay.
I was on a break, and I was doing some consulting, advisory work, but largely on a break. And
so you're spending a lot of your time with the volunteering. Okay.
So I mean, वो भी इतना ज़्यादा नहीं. So my initial volunteering work was actually in Auroville there is Matri Mandir, right? It's beautiful. I don't know how to call it, but place where people go and meditate, right? And it's a big, beautiful place. And my first volunteering work there was I used to in the morning just wipe away the collect the dry leaves. Right? I used to do that for about an hour in the morning, couple of days in the week. That was my initial volunteering work, and a lot of time there was just living and being there without any agenda. Talking to
And time also flows differently there.
yes. That was also a time where schools etc. were closed, so a lot of time was spent with my daughter in that environment.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's you had a good COVID.
Yeah, it was
good COVID period.
It was fun. Yes, it was fun.
Okay, and then once you came back from Auroville, what happened then? Did you again restart professional work here immediately? Or?
Yeah, pretty much immediately I entered my professional role, and it was regular work, but I came back, so there was some clarity in terms of the project I wanted to build on, and thankfully I was in my organization, I was given the freedom to build that new vertical. So I started building that new vertical within the company, and I had a great time doing that. And it was interesting when I came back. So I'd gone with a certain state, and I spent some time there and come back. So to come back with this new frame of mind back to the corporate world in the city, so to come back to city living.
Yeah, first of all,
so come back to city living, the kind of house I was staying there, and the kind of environment, the kind of work. So it was, to be very honest, it was a shock, right? Like, even though, I had spent 35, 36 years, and I just spent that 1 year there. फिर भी जब मैं वापस आया ना, that shock was a little hard to take, right? I definitely did struggle adjusting back. I resisted also, to be honest. I think it's something in me resisting also. But then धीरे धीरे kind of settled in, and it's all flowing well and beautiful यहाँ पे भी now.
And throughout this time, did you continue the awareness practice?
I think that's definitely a perpetual thing, but see, it's not something I wake up every day and say, "Yeah, chalo, aaj ye karna hai." Right.
It's become automatic.
No, it has its. I think so. Some of it gets ingrained and internalized in you, where you just start watching yourself through different situations and different patterns. Up देखने लग जाते हो, right? Especially this happens to me, especially when I'm going through a more stressful time. Right, I'm able to. That's when I think my self-observation is probably at its peak. But also I think it's been a journey where I think that when I came back, I felt that I really struggled also with my self-observation, because life became a lot more busy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Back in the city, it became a lot more busy, running around, doing different things. So. I had to gradually bring that practice back in once I started settling into the city.
Do you think it leveled up your self-observation practice? Because now you have to do it in a harder environment, relatively.
Yeah, I think so. I would like to think so कि थोड़ा better हुआ है.
Our friend Gunjan, he joked one day that the height of this self-observation practice will be when you can do it in an auto in Bangalore traffic. I think he might have a point. If you're able to do it
in Bangalore traffic, I think actually more than auto, if you're driving in Bangalore traffic, मेरे लिए तो वो peak होता है. When I'm driving and you have everything coming from everywhere, right? तो वहाँ पे तो it's like
there's no attention left for anything else. You have to survive.
You have to survive, and वहाँ पे तो just watch कि यार अब मैं irritate हो रहा हूँ, अब मेरा give up हो रहा है, मुझे उस पे गुस्सा आ रहा है, अब मुझे government पे गुस्सा आ रहा है, मुझे. So that is, I think that's the peak. That's the peak for me, at least.
Okay, so that's continued, and has it impacted how you think about money or finances?
Yeah, I definitely think so, and it's happened kind of organically, I think, over time. So I think money को लेके my relationship has always been where I have been very grateful for the money that I've managed to make, largely, most of the time. And But I think what has happened with my relationship with money now is I don't, and it might seem a little abstract, but I really see कि like I don't limit myself to financial wealth as my wealth, right? Like wealth for me is just so much more than money, right?
Like what else?
Like for example, like one simple example is that, and I remember this came from one of my conversations with my mentors, right? Like wealth for me is a way to grow my consciousness, right? Or one of the channels that I can use to grow my consciousness. कि अगर कहीं पे पैसा दे के, right? Like so पहले क्या होता था ना? It's like a lot of it was, is this the right value of this, right?
Yeah.
अगर मैं ये चीज खरीद रहा हूँ, क्या ये इसकी right value?
Yeah, we all think that, yeah.
Right? And now it's more like, you know, stress नहीं लेना है, right? अभी इस चीज के लिए ये प्राइस बोली जा रही है, right? Just by paying this, right? Like, am I more at peace, right? If yes, चलो करो आगे बढ़ो.
Calculation has changed.
हाँ.
It's not whether this item is worth this much or not. It's what is this item worth to me? Will it bring me peace?
At this
Will
point
it solve one problem for me or not?
Exactly. At this point in time.
And is that worth this amount or not? Like, where, how much peace is it bringing me, or how big of a problem is solving for me?
Correct.
So that's a totally different equation.
Like wealth is now a channel for growing consciousness for me. Yes.
What else do you consider wealth apart from money?
I think my space, and by space I mean the time I'm able to create for myself, for being with myself. That is wealth. Of course, the relationships that I'm able to build. I think is, of course, a lot of people will say that is wealth, but it's not just. I think traditionally it's been said as, okay, your relationships are your wealth, but that's not just friends and family, right? I think it's the circle you develop. It's the time you decide to spend with whom, right? So I'm far more aware about whom do I want to spend time with and whom do I not want to spend time with, right?
Yeah.
So actually that also brings me to a point. So pehle what used to happen is, if I had to meet someone, I would do a calculation of ROI. कि यार इस person से मिलने का 1 घंटे का ROI क्या है, right? What will I get from this in the future, right? But now I don't look at it that way, right? So it's more like, do I feel like it? Does it feel like this will be like an expansive experience, right? And sometimes once you meet someone and 10 minutes के अंदर लगता है कि यार ये तो एकदम ही shrinking, so I tend to quickly terminate and cut and move out.
Yeah.
So the people you get involved with, in any form, professional, personal, right? You look at it. I know we were talking about the wealth. We're talking about wealth, but I'm moving to kind of relationships now, and how those have changed. Where
that's also a super important point. How has the journey impacted your relationships?
So
we talked about the professional ones, or maybe the non-professional ones as well.
Yeah. I think with respect to people, it's like I'm far more choosy about whom I want to spend time with and what time I want to spend, and also I'm far more conscious about the time I want to spend with myself. I think time with myself was largely ignored before. बहुत valuable ही नहीं था कि मैं अपने साथ कितना टाइम स्पेंड कर रहा हूँ. एंड बाय माई सेल्फ आई डोंट मीन कि मैं यूट्यूब पे या नेटफ्लिक्स पे या फोन पे या एनी दैट. लाइक टाइम विद माई सेल्फ मीन्स विद माई सेल्फ. एंड अगेन विथ होम इट्स पहले क्या था कि ठीक है ये आपके कलीग्स हैं, ये आपके फ्रेंड्स हैं, आपकी फैमिली है, इनके साथ ऑब्लिगेशन है तो टाइम स्पेंड करना पड़ेगा, राइट? अब
those are also, a lot of them are made up obligation, right? I mean, they're not real. Sometimes it's just something we built up in our own head.
Yes, absolutely, right? Like I used to do a lot of things out of obligation pehle, right? But that started changing, right? Like I started choosing कि मेरे को this particular conversation seems like this is expansive. So and then what happened was, then I started removing the time bounds I used to have. कि इतना टाइम ही है, 1 घंटा ही है, आधा ही घंटा है. Right. It's like इतने बजे मिलते हैं. and then we'll see.
फिर देखा जाएगा.
और कभी कभी 3 घंटे तक बात कर रहे हैं किसी से. That I have taken interviews that have lasted for 3 hours, and beautiful interviews, right? Like those people, they ended up joining my org, and we built deep relationships, and also interviews that just terminated in 10 minutes. I was like,
right.
So पहले ऐसा होता कि अच्छा इतना slotted time है, इतने slot में बात करो. So but now I was like, यार open रखते हैं, right? We'll see how it goes. And another thing I tend to do is I was like in person मिलते हैं, because उसमें ना that your ability to connect is just far better, or your ability to just sense that energy is far better.
Energy exchange is there, no, which is not there digitally.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, did it affect your relationship with, or how you communicate with or interact with, like, let's say people like your guard or your cab driver, or people who serve you in like small ways?
I feel yes. I used to honestly be fairly irritable as a person. I had this expectation of perfection on me. So, simple example, for example, if I sit in a cab, right, and the cab is unclean, machhar, I would like, get into an argument with the cab guy. What is this? You are supposed to. But now, like, I think it's very different. जब मैं बैठता हूँ, so I can see, अच्छा ठीक है, I'm irritated, right? And then instead of just like, kind of taking it out on the cab driver, I was like, ठीक है, this is what was planned, and let me see next time इसको कैसे avoid किया जा सकता है, right? So, अपने आप, this led to me actually defining how I commute within the city also, right? So I've created a formula for me that works better than.
I'm very curious to know about this formula, because I really struggle commuting in the city.
It's very straightforward. I just built I decided an investment of having a driver, given the nature of work that I do, and having a car that is
car and driver, right?
Car and driver. वो expensive होता है, but I think for this city it just gives me far more peace.
I think there's no other way to live in the city. If you have to be on the road for a significant period of time, I think this is the only way to live.
Yes. And I think it's also, what I realize is that once you make that investment, then you're far less scared of spending more time on the road. And if you're not scared of that, you end up doing a lot more in the city that you didn't do earlier, right? Pehle, with that fear, yaar.
You were inhibiting yourself just because of that fear and the expectation of a bad experience, which is inevitably going to.
Exactly, right? So wo jab hat gaya, so then I was just the living in the city became far more expensive, right? Because commute is a basic need, just like food.
I wanted to touch upon how the journey has impacted your physical health, if at all.
Yeah, sure. I think physical health. So I was honestly college ke baad largely ignorant of physical health in general. It was mostly life was work and family, and it was mostly that. I think I could sense back in 2016 ki there is some deterioration that is happening in health. I think that was around the time I was turning 30, early 30s, right? So I could sense कि कुछ तो deterioration वाली feeling आने लगी, and so I got curious. But here also I think what helped was the standard prescription tends to be sport खेलो, gym करो, whatever, right? I was aware कि certain things don't work for me. Like for example, gymming didn't work for me, running didn't work for me. I thought maybe yoga.
You tried them and.
हाँ, मैंने पहले एक बार try किया था. कॉलेज में मैं करता भी था, कॉलेज के बाद भी एक बार किया था. I realized कि it is not for me, right? Like it was like I felt shrunk when I went to gyms, right? That energy somehow I was not able to resonate with, and that's a very personal thing. It's not a judgment on that at all. So it didn't work for me. I tried running वगैरह. Again, I did it because people would say, "Yeah, this is a great thing. Running has become a thing." So I thought maybe वो होगा, but it wasn't resonating with me. So I thought, चलो yoga try करते हैं, and I started with yoga. Initially, my experience with yoga also wasn't that great, right? Like,
was this hatha yoga?
Yeah, it was. Actually, I don't know the name. I just know that there's some yoga teacher would come at home और वो सिखाते
like you do forms.
Right. And मैं करता था, it felt better than the rest, but I wasn't like ऐसा नहीं था कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा expensive लगता था मुझे. But then, somehow the universe sent this yoga teacher to my place. I was just searching one day, and I found this person online, and she agreed to come home to teach me. And I think that's when my journey of Hatha Yoga, or actually Vinyasa Yoga is the form that I've been learning, started. And, of course, it started with her, then other places also I went to learn a little more, and it's been continuing since then. So that, at least so far, अब आगे क्या होगा, again, I'm not attached कि यही होगा आगे, it might continue, it might discontinue. But at least so far, that's been a very important part of, that's been one very important physical activity that's become a part of my life. And it's really helped me thus far. Thus far, it's really helped me. And yoga in general, and I think that's true of any physical activity. It's not just a physical thing, right? It ultimately ends up impacting all parts of your existence, right? Physical, mental, emotional, and all of that. So food I already talked about. Food is, of course, very, very integral to physical life. So once that awareness came in, right, apne aap the food practices changed. And food practices is not just, how much I'm eating and what I'm eating, but where is it cooked, where is it sourced, all of that, right? So I think those are things which have kind of determined what my physical health has been. Sleep, of course. But with sleep, like I said, now it's not so much कि 8 घंटे सोना है या 6 घंटे सोना है. It's like, जब नींद आ रही है तब सो गए, जब उठना था उठ गए. So I think I'm a little more non-compromising on my sleep now. So it's been that mostly, right? So far it's mostly been that. बीच में, I would be honest, there were phases where मैंने भी, I attended these sessions where they said, इस तरह का diet follow करिए, या ऐसा करिए, वैसा करिए. And I tried this because वो बहुत, उसका इतना ज़्यादा, sometimes these personalities come and talk with such authority and with such clarity कि आप बोलते हैं, हाँ यार, this is the right thing. And I kind of slipped thinking कि यार ये बोला जा रहा है तो यही सही होगा. Right, and I did practice it for some time, and it actually had an adverse.
And they say it with a lot of conviction and backed by this data and that. This.
हाँ, exactly. वो logic भी देते हैं. There's very long logic, strong logic. Like for example, veganism को लेके बीच में आया था. Dairy ऐसे, it carries this negative energy. It's and इतना unhygienic ये वो. It's a very personal thing, it is ultimately, right? There's no one standard answer, right? But also this is a journey, right? For example, what became a part of my health journey in between, and this happened organically. So I don't know how. I started fasting. Once वो एकादशी का fast होता है ना, back in 2017 or 2018, right? I don't know how it kind of came into my life, and I was someone who thought I would never be able to fast in my life. मुझे अपने बारे में ऐसा था कि यार दिन भर खाना नहीं खाना है, बस बचपन से कभी नहीं किया था. मुझे लगता था माउंट एवरेस्ट है कि दिन भर आप खाना नहीं खा रहे हो, राइट? अपने भूख को सप्रेस करो, राइट? बट somehow it came, and somewhere that will inside me also came कि नहीं करना है ये, right? And I think for almost 1.5, 2 years तक every Ekadashi, which comes every 14 days, I would fast. And I think that played a very important role in my health journey during that point. And अपने आप 2 साल बाद फिर my body told me कि अब ये नहीं करना है और, right? अपने आप ही वो हुआ. Right, and I might get back to it, I might not get back to it, I don't know, right? But I think with health also it's been key. It's like just listening to my body, क्या exercise करना है, नहीं करना है, क्या करना है, food, fasting, sleep, right? It's
how do you feel like the before and after? Do you feel more energetic now? Do you fall sick as often as you used to? What are there any changes in those aspects?
So touch wood, yes. I used to be a very I grew up. I would call myself as a sickly child, right? Like मैं बहुत every few months I would have some sort of an episode, and I kind of resigned to that fact. And I remember I used to almost live in fear also कि यार अब लग रहा है बीमार पड़ने वाला हूँ और बहुत अब तो गया, मतलब अगले 3-4 दिन गए.
This trauma is the reason you work at Practo.
Actually, maybe. Now that you say it, maybe subconscious level pe that has been operating and keeping me in Practo. Possible.
Sorry. So that's how you were growing up.
Yeah. So I had kind of resigned to the fact कि ऐसा है. But then, once I started becoming more aware, so one of the things I realized is that it started coming to me that, hey, maybe this food is causing it. And then I did some experiments, and it did have an impact, like a significant impact, I would say.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So it's been it's on the health front, I would say it's been fascinating so far. Aage kya hota, I don't know, but at least so far it's been a fascinating journey on the health front. Like I feel a lot more liberated there, right? Because so kya ho gaya tha na, I ended up constraining myself a lot because of these recurrent health issues, right? I would not do a lot of things in the fear कि मैं ये करने गया या वो करने गया, बीमार पड़ गया तो क्या होगा?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But this journey has unlocked a lot of that. Now that you say it, I realize.
So, I asked because for me also it has been like a crazy shift. Since my kind of journey intensified, I hardly fall sick, and when I do, I recover super quick. Like it's so quick that people, family, and they're like, "तुम ड्रामा कर रहे थे ना कल?" They can't believe that. एक दिन में कैसे ठीक हो गया ये?
Yeah.
Because nobody gets recovers that quick these days.
Yeah. How you look at medicine also changes, no?
Yes.
आपके साथ हुआ, मेरे साथ तो definitely हुआ.
I have to mostly decided to stay away from allopathic medicine. So I'm like, I think it leads you into more trouble.
But वहाँ पे भी I've had a journey. I went through this phase, right, where I used to really say, this Western medicine घपला है, right? This isn't right? But then I got very close. I went to a point where I became very close to it. Right, saying that कि ये तो एकदम करना ही नहीं है, which also I realized was a shrinking experience because I mean it's come to a point where I've realized that all forms of medicine are relevant, and you have to find out what works for you at what point, right? Because at some point in time वो चाहिए भी होता है, right? Like it's been a lifesaver for me and my daughter at various occasions also. Oh,
definitely. There are cases I'm not like कि कभी नहीं लेना. There are cases which is absolutely it is the right thing.
Yeah.
And for example, orthopedics, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
That's a part of Western medicine, I think, which is just a wonderful service to society and humanity, and especially to me. I break a lot of bones. So, I mean, it's not like a blanket thing. But yeah, like you said, I just know what suits me, what doesn't suit. I have better awareness, let's say. What suits me and what in which situation. Like the same thing might also suit me in another situation.
Yes. Because वहाँ पे भी getting attached to one system. Like I actually बीच में got very attached to the Ayurvedic system of medicine. बहुत ज़्यादा मैं, and then I could see that it was really limiting me, right? Because ये इसमें थोड़ा सा, I think one trap that I've fallen in before is that once something starts to work for you, you start believing that as the ultimate truth. और आप बोलते यही है.
Yeah.
Right, and then you start thinking everything else is false, right? कि ये तो wrong ही है, right? And I think I kind of pushed the limit there, and it actually throws a damage cause हो गया उसकी वजह से, right? So that's where I realized that थोड़ा सा you have to be gentle with everything. You can't reject anything outright. You can't accept anything outright, and you have to figure out your path with that also.
Yeah, and really the right decision comes in that moment only. You can't decide beforehand कि ये सही होगा और वो गलत होगा.
Yes.
In that moment, usually,
Yes.
In a podcast like this, many years ago, Bruce Lee said, "You should be like water, like flexible, not rigid."
Oh, beautiful. Yes, that's true of life in general. I think, I think beautiful. What a beautiful.
He said water, like when you put it into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you put it in a jar, it becomes a jar. So it depends on the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. One more point I wanted to ask you was, in this journey, what have been, if any, have you had any struggles or difficulties?
I think मुझे ऐसा लगता है this journey is all full of difficulties, right?
Yeah.
Because
it has a universe's way to help us grow.
I think
it puts us through more and more challenges.
I think so. Sometimes इसलिए कभी मैं question करता हूँ कि was that the right decision? But there's no looking back, right? Because what's also happened in this journey is that, I think I feel that life has continuously thrown very hard challenges for me. Not that पहले ये नहीं था, but I mean it's not that last 8 years have been like the smooth ride, right? It's like life has thrown a lot, right? And I feel that it was to kind of at every point test And I think I failed dramatically at various points, right? Like I really slipped, right? Like I completely lost. I got sucked into the emotions of the situation, my biases of certain situations, and I had to work really hard to come back with more awareness and deal with that situation with higher awareness. And it's still work in progress. It still happens. Very recently it happened. So I think I've come to realize that, and once you get on this journey, you will continuously be tested.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah,
Right.
And the challenges get harder and harder.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. At least that's been my journey.
Yeah,
Right.
same here.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges you're facing now, struggles now? 'Cause I'm assuming like the past one you've probably overcome.
No, I think how to live with more awareness is a continuous challenge. I mean, like multiple times.
There's always a next level like to get to. Like you can always be more aware.
Yes, I think endless journey, right? Like many times I get sucked into, like low emotions, isko kehte hain, right? Like I can see my getting myself sucked into irritation, anger, greed, confusion, frustration. वो emotions आते हैं. My mind is still, I think, like a lot of thoughts.
That's okay, right? That's part of our life.
हाँ, correct.
So I accepted.
Yeah, I mean, usko thoda sa, yes, I think I'm a little more gentle with myself. I used to be a little harsh on myself about this. तो उसके साथ थोड़ा सा gentle हो गया, because there's also this point where I think, which is also a trap, I feel कि एक बार आप इस journey पे जाते हो, तब आप अपना एक ideal version बना लेते हो, और आप उस ideal version you want to live up to that, and if you're not, then you become very hard on yourself.
Yeah, of course.
तो मेरे साथ ये भी हुआ था कि I kind of became hard with myself, and that's when my growth also stopped for some time, I feel.
There's the same natural cycle of like setting expectation, and then when you don't meet them, we get upset with ourselves.
Which is a big trap, right? कि वो expectation setting करा तो फिर वो purpose ही शायद तक different.
वहीं पे गड़बड़ हो गई जब हमने expectation set कर दी.
Correct, right? Yes, exactly. तो थोड़ा सा
So again, it's something for the future. It's not the you've lost the present moment then in the moment you went into it.
Exactly. It's all about that. Exactly. So this is a very common habit, and I fall into this all the time.
Can we talk about any of the specific struggles you went through or are going through? So some like the category you mentioned, like when you go into kind of negative attitudes and thought processes, any specific examples?
So for example, sometimes peer competition.
Right. That's a common one with a lot of people.
A lot of us, right? Sometimes you just kind of wonder that, hey, am I doing the right thing? कहीं मैं पीछे तो नहीं रह गया, right?
And then what do you do when you become aware of this, that this is happening?
So I watch my thoughts. मैं देखता हूँ कि क्या आ रहा है, like where is it coming from, right? क्या thoughts आ रहे हैं, right? और जब मैं देखता हूँ तो so immediately, so for example, right, if I start wondering कि am I in the right job, for example, right? कहीं और पे क्या better growth होती and all that, right? So I immediately take a step back and see कि अच्छा ठीक है, ये thought आ रहा है, let me not suppress it, let me not judge it. आ रहा है तो one practice I do is I journal, right? मैं लिखने लग जाता हूँ, right? कि क्या thoughts आ रहे हैं, क्यों, why am I questioning this, right? And when I start thinking about it and writing about it, and अगर answer is coming, hey, just because others are doing it, तो फिर अपने आप that desire dissolves.
Yeah.
Right? जब वो clarity आ जाती है, sometimes क्या होता है ना कि ये subconsciously operate करता है and you don't realize कि आप क्यों करना चाहते हो. For example, if you feel like changing a job, क्यों exactly you want to change a job, वो पता नहीं है. Right? Maybe subconsciously कहीं आपने किसी अपने college friend से किसी बात की, उसने कुछ बताया कि वो ये कर रहे हैं.
They painted some picture which लग रहा है तो बहुत cool है.
Cool लग रहा है.
मुझे भी करना है.
मैं कहीं पीछे तो नहीं रह गया. तो जब when you start doing that, right, and but आपको पता नहीं चलता है कि वो क्यों हो रहा है, right? When this thing comes in, आपको पता नहीं है. So when you start, at least for me, when I start writing it, वो clarity आ जाती है कि यार ये तो मैं कर रहा हूँ ना because of these reasons, and these reasons don't seem right, right? So So I think that's one example.
Yeah, it's a good way to, when we know the root cause of where it's coming from, gives so much clarity about, because otherwise you're only looking at half the.
हाँ, and you tend to act on it also.
Yeah.
अरे मन किया चलो कर दिया, फिर वो उधर हो भी गया. Then later on it's like यार मैंने किया था तो याद ही नहीं है मुझे. Right? So yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe we can pause again. Thank you, Kshitij, for being with us here today.
No, thank you, Gaurav. It was a good reflection for me also. So maybe सोचने लगा, these are some things that I also haven't thought about. So, so thanks for asking these questions and making me also self-reflect on my journey. I think it helped me.
Pleasure. Was wonderful. Hopefully, I definitely learned a couple of ways to try and live more consciously. And I'm sure I'll learn more when I rewatch this.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll also learn more about myself when I watch this. I'll be watching myself in a different way.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thank you.